and welcome to S.E.A. Time. I am Erica Allen Charles. Today we're going to be looking at problem solving. Yes, solving S.E.A. problems. We're going to look at perimeter and area. Remember we had done that previously, where we calculated perimeter, we calculated area, and we also looked at the difference between the two. But today, we are going to be looking at actual S.E.A. problems involving perimeter and area. So I know that you will apply the rules that we would have learned before to all the problems that we are going to look at now. All right, so we're going to start right now. Problem number 1. Come with me to the board. Let's read together. A garden has the shape shown below, with all its sides of equal length. The perimeter is 72 meters. What is the length of one side of the garden? Well, what information is given? We are given information that the perimeter, which is the distance around, is 72 meters. What else is given? The shape shown below has all of its sides equal. Do you know what shape that is? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagon. Just added information. So we have all the sides equal there. Can we now find the length of one side? What do you think we should do? You are correct. We are going to divide. So you're going to divide the perimeter by the number of sides to find the length of one side. I'm certain some people are working that out already. Let's go to the board. 72 meters. And we're going to divide by the number of sides. 6. Do you know your tables? I know you know the answer. So the length of one side would be 12 meters. The length of one side would be 12 meters. And if you work back, 12 multiplied by 6 will give us 72, so that you know that you are correct. Problem number 2 now. You'll realize, and I'm starting with the less challenging questions, and then by the end you'll realize we have more difficult questions. So let's pay attention to problem number 2 now. A piece of board has the shape shown below. The perimeter of the board is 40 centimeters. Calculate the length of the side marked D centimeters. Are you seeing the board? Are you seeing the given dimensions? This is the missing side. It's represented by D. So what are we going to do to find this missing dimension? Do you have any idea what to do? What information is given? Let's go back to the question. It says the perimeter of the board is 40 centimeters. So we know the entire perimeter, not so, boys and girls? And then we have given sides. Are you seeing that? What do you think we should do? Do you know what to do? I know you do. You find the sum of the given sides and you subtract that from the perimeter. Shall we do that now? Let's do that. Let's add up the given sides. So let's go. So we're going to write the total of the known sides. Let's look and see. We have 10 centimeters, add 7 centimeters, add 9 centimeters, add 6 centimeters, add 3 centimeters. Always double check to make sure that you have everything given. So 10 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 9 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 3 centimeters. Remember, this side is the unknown. So let's add. 10 add 7, 17. 17 add 9, 26. 26 add 6, 32. 32 add 3 will give us 35 centimeters. Is that the answer? No, it isn't. 35 centimeters represents the total of the known sides. And we are given the perimeter. So to find D, we will subtract. D is the unknown side, which is D. we can say the 40 centimeters take away the 35 centimeters. What did you get, boys and girls? Correct, 5 centimeters. So the unknown side, or D, is 5 centimeters. And what do we always do? We always check back. So if you were to total all the sides now, you'll realize you'll get the 40. Let's do it together. 10 at 7, at 9, at 6, and 3 will give us the 35. The 35 at the 5 will give us the 40, so that you know that you are correct. Always remember to check over. Even if you think it's simple, always check over. Problem number 3 now, we are looking at area. So pay attention now and remember all the rules regarding area. Let's go now. A rectangular garden bed is 5 meters long and has an area of 18 meters squared. How wide is the garden bed? A rectangular garden bed is 5 meters long and has an area of 18 meters squared. How wide is the garden bed? What information is given? We are given the area, which is 18 meters squared. What else is given? The length. The length is 5 meters. What do we have to find? We have to find the width or the breadth. So what are we going to do? You are given the area, you are given the length. Can you find the breadth? Can you find the width? I know you remember that formula. What do? Area divided by length. I know you knew it. Let's try that now. So you're going to say 18 meters squared, and we're dividing that by 5 meters. Boys and girls, are you with me? There are a number of ways that we can do this. We can do it like this. And let's go from there. How many sets of 5? We have 3, and we have a remainder of 3, which will represent 3/5. So we are saying that 3 3/5 represents the width or the breadth of this shape here. We're going to put our unit, which is meters. Some people may say, okay, you may want to change that to decimals. So it may be, you can say 3.6 meters if you so desire. Either way, you are correct. All right? So we did it this way. We have 3 3/5 meters. Remember, we can work backwards. So if you were to work backwards, what would you have to do? You would have to multiply the breadth that is given by the length. And then you will see that you will get your 18 meters squared. Remember what I keep telling you? Always check over. Always work backwards to make sure that your answer is correct. Yes, boys and girls, as I said, as we progress, the problems are going to become a little bit more challenging. You have to do a little bit more thinking. And with this problem, you have a little bit more thinking. So let's go together on the board. The side of a square is 11 centimeters. 2 sides of the square are extended by 3 centimeters as shown below. What is the difference between the area of the new shape and the square? A lot of information there. Let's read it again. The side of a square is 11 centimeters. 2 sides of the square are extended by 3 centimeters as shown below. What is the difference between the area of the new shape and the square? All right. So what do we know? This is our square here. Are you seeing that? And the new shape was extended by 3 centimeters. Are you seeing that? Wonderful. What do we have to find? We have to find the area. Can we find the area of the square? Yes, we can. What is the rule to find area? Side multiplied by side. So let's first find the area of the square. (11 centimeters by 11 centimeters will give us what? 121 centimeters squared. Are you with me, boys and girls? So far, so good. Look at the second part now. It says 2 sides of the square are extended by 3 centimeters. Which 2 sides are extended? Look with me now. here, and here. These are the two sides that were extended. What is the new shape that you are seeing? You are seeing a rectangle. Are you seeing that now? It means, therefore, that the new length of the shape is now 11 centimeters at 3 centimeters, which will give us what? 14 centimeters. Question now, does this side change? It does not, because it says only these two sides were extended, which means that this side remains the 11 centimeters from the square. You see that, boys and girls? That is very important, because sometimes children extend everything. Remember, look at the question carefully. It's only these two sides that are extended. So this becomes 14 centimeters, and the breadth remains as 11 centimeters. So what is the rule to find the area of a rectangle? Length multiplied by breadth. What are we going to use? 14 centimeters multiplied by 11 centimeters. So let's do that now. Remember, we got the 14, so we have 14 centimeters multiplied by the 11. All right, so let's do that quickly. Did you get that, boys and girls? Did you get 154 centimeters squared? Wonderful. Is that the end of the problem? Let's look and see. What is the difference between the area of the new shape and the square? So now what do we have to do? We must take away. Which one has the greater area? The rectangle has the greater area. So we'll say we will take the area of the square from the area of the rectangle. So we'll say 154 centimeters squared, and from that we're going to take away 121 centimeters squared. Let's do that right here. Boys and girls, what did we get? We got 33 centimeters squared. Did we answer the question? Let's check back. What is the difference between the area of the new shape and the square? Yes, we did. Always check back and make sure that you answer your question. Some of you may stop at one point. Always check it over, always check back, and make sure that you answer the question carefully. Boys and girls, do you know that you can do this another way? Could you look at it and see if there's another way to do this? Look carefully. If you notice, we are given the fact that this length here is now 3 centimeters. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? And we already know that this side is 11 centimeters. So technically, what could we say? We just have to find what? The area of this extension, for want of a better word. Are you seeing that? So if we say 11 centimeters multiplied by 3 centimeters, we have our 33 centimeters squared. Just double checking. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Sometimes some of the problems are mental. You apply whatever strategy you can to solve the problem. Remember, boys and girls, what I said? As we keep on doing problems, we're going to see more and more challenges. So you're going to do a problem now, and I need you to think, really think. Come with me to the board now. The drawing below is a square yard of side 5 meters. The yard is paved except for 2 rectangular patches of grass. The 2 patches of grass are identical. This is the diagram here showing the grass and the yard. What is the total area of the paved section of the yard? So this is what we need to find. All right? What information is given? Always, always start with what you know. What do we know? That the entire yard is a square, and this side is 5 meters. So let's start with that first. Can you find the area of the entire yard? Yes, you can. 5 multiplied by 5 will give us 25. So we can find the entire area of the backyard. So let's start with that. Wonderful. So far, so good. Now comes the tricky part. It says, the yard is paved except for 2 rectangular patches of grass. The 2 patches of grass are identical. It means, therefore, that both of them would have the same area. Do you understand that, boys and girls? They would have the same area. But let's look carefully at the diagram, because there's some information on the diagram that we need to use. First and foremost, the length from one end of the grassy area to the other grassy area is 4 meters. But if you notice, in between, there's a 0.5 meter distance between both of them there. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? 2.5 meters here. So this information is very, very important. Why do we need that? Let's see why. I want you to think a little bit. Is it possible to find the area of the 2 grassy plots? Think now. There are so many different ways that you can do this, and I'm going to try one. What if we were to say that we take out the 0.5 meters from the 4 meters here? So in other words, in our mind, we are putting these 2 areas together. Can you do that? What would be the new length here? What would be the new length? So it would be 4 meters, and you minus 0.5 meters, you'll end up with what? 3.5 meters. So the new length of the 2 plots joined together would be 3.5 meters. Remember, that would remain 2.5. Can we now find the area of the 2? Remember, in your mind, you would have joined them together. Can we now find the area of it? Yes, we can. So you're going to say the area of the 2 grassy plots. What are we going to see? Remember, we said 4 meters, take away the 0.5, that will give us what? 3.5 meters. We'll use that as our length. And what would be the breadth? That does not change, 2.5 meters. All right. Normally, when you're multiplying by decimals, one of the strategies, you can multiply without the decimal point and then put it back after. So let's do that. Work with me now. Are you working it with me? So the 875, it wouldn't be 875. We're going to put back the decimal point now. Because remember, we multiply without a decimal point, and when you multiply without it, you look at the number of positions after the decimal point, so we put back the decimal point, 8.75. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So the area of the grassy plot now will be 8.75 meters squared. Are you seeing that? The area of the entire yard is 25 meters squared. We now know the area of the 2 grassy plots together. Are you seeing that? Can we now find the area of the paved? Because that's what we have to look at. What is the total area of the paved section? What are we going to do? Well, we are going to subtract. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? You will subtract the area of the 2 grassy plots from the area of the yard to get the area of the paved section. So let's do that now. Right? So we have the 25 meters squared, and from that we are taking away 8.75 meters squared. All right, so let's do that working. Let's subtract. All right, so let's go. Are you working with me, boys and girls? So in truth and in fact, the area is 16.25 meters squared. What is 16.25 meters squared? It is the area or the total area of the paved section of the yard. Let's go over what we did. We first found the area of the entire yard, after which we found the total area of the grassy plots, the grassy area. And what did we do finally? We subtracted the area of the 2 grassy plots from the area of the yard to get the entire area of the paved section. Boys and girls, remember, this is one way that I would have done this. You might sit down and you may be able to come up with another way of doing that, and that is fine. By all means, try that way, because remember, there are always more than one way to solve a problem. All right, another problem now. I hope you're not too tired, you know. I hope that you're not too tired and your pencils are ready to keep on working, all right? So let's look at this problem now. Ram's garden plot is 12 meters long and 8 meters wide. Ram makes a path 1 meter wide around the garden. Calculate the area of the path, which is shaded. Let's read it again. Ram's garden plot is 12 meters long and 8 meters wide. Ram makes a path 1 meter wide around the garden. Calculate the area of the path. So this represents the path here. So that's the final answer that we have to determine. But what information is given? It says Ram's garden plot is 12 meters long and 8 meters wide. Where is the plot? Where is it? Are you seeing it? Look at the diagram. You will see that the plot is located on the inside. So 12 meters long by 8 meters wide. So this portion represents the plot. The question goes on to say he made a path 1 meter wide around the garden. So bear that in mind, 1 meter all the way around. How do you think we are going to find the area of the shaded path? Are you seeing it? Well, let's first start with what we know. We can find the area of the plot because those dimensions are given. The plot is 12 meters long and 8 meters wide. So let's do that first. Did you do that? What did you get? 96 meters squared. Are you with me so far? Wonderful. Ram makes a path 1 meter wide around the garden. That information is critical. Notice 1 meter wide around. So this is now the outer area, which includes the path and the plot. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? How do you think we are going to find this length here? Is there any information that is given to assist us? Look carefully. We already know that the length of the plot is 12 meters. The distance from here to here would be what? 1 meter, not so, boys and girls? But what we do on one side, we must also do on the other side. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Because remember, this is the new length here. So we have the 1 meter here as well as 1 meter on this side. So this length would now be 12 meters, add 2 meters, giving us 14 meters. Boys and girls, are you seeing that? Sometimes we overlook and we only add one side. You have to be careful. You must cater for both ends. Are you understanding that? So the length of the entire area now would be 14 meters. What about the breadth? What about the breadth? Well, the breadth of the plot is 8 meters. 1 meter, same thing here. So what are we going to see? 1 meter on this side and 1 meter on this side. So 8 meters add 2 meters will give us 10 meters. So in truth and in fact, the length of the entire area here would be 14 meters and the breadth would now be 10 meters. So we can use those dimensions to find the area of the entire back there. So it's the entire area now. So we got 14. Remember, we got the 14. 12 and 2 will give us the 14. And we are going to multiply by 10. 8 and 2 will give us 10. And what will we get? 140 meters squared. Did you get that, boys and girls? Wonderful. Now we can find the area of the shaded path. Are you seeing that here? What are we going to do? We are going to subtract to find the area of the path. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So we are going to say 140 meters squared, and we are going to take away 96 meters squared from that. Let's do that together now. Go ahead, work with me. So in truth and in fact, the area of the path would be 44 meters squared. Children, did you see what we did? We first found the area of the entire thing, the entire area, the whole thing, and then we found the area of the plot. And then we subtracted both of them to get the area of the path. Wonderful. Remember, you can try problems similar to this. Always remember that when you're looking at the extension, always cater for both sides. Sometimes you overlook that. Always remember that. So if you add 1 here, you must add 1 on this side. If you add 1 on this side, 1. And the dimensions could vary, depends on the sum that you're looking at. But always remember, what you do on one side, you must also do on the other. Keep on practicing. Boys and girls, are you keeping up with me? Are you able to keep up with me? I hope so. I hope you still have energy to do this question now. This question that we're going to do entails a lot of thinking. Remember, I told you initially, as we progress, the questions will become a little more challenging. So this problem has a number of steps, and I want you to work with me to solve this problem very, very carefully. Let's go together now. Mr. Ali wants to tile his office floor. The area of the floor is 90,000 centimeters squared. What is given? Sale on tile. So it's $50 per box. 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters represents the tile dimension. And there are 40 tiles per box. So in this one, this is the first section here. Then we have sale on tiles, $55 per box. 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, that's the dimension of the tile. 25 tiles per box. What is the question now? Which size tile should be used so that it is the better buy? Show your working. Oh boy, what are we going to do? I always tell you, always start with what you know. What information is given? Well, the area of the floor is 90,000 centimeters squared. So let's write that down. All right. So what we are going to do, in order to determine the better buy, we're going to work with this one first, and then we're going to work with this one, and then decide which size tile is the better buy. Are you with me? So let's start with the sale on tiles, this section here. It's $50 per box, 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters, and in each box, there are 40 tiles. What do we know? The area of the floor is 90,000 centimeters squared. What can we find with the information here? Well, we can find the number of tiles that we need using the 90,000 centimeters squared. And what are we going to do? Well, we know the dimensions of the tile, 15 by 15. So to find the number of tiles, what are we going to do? We are going to divide. Are you seeing that? So when we divide, we will get the number of tiles that we need. So let's do that now to determine the number of tiles. Are you with me, boys and girls? So let's go. Division. So far, so good. So in truth and in fact, 400 tiles are needed if we were to go with this side here with the $50 per box. But we're not finished yet. All right, boys and girls. So what are we going to do now? Now we can determine the number of boxes that we need. Remember, we have determined that we need 400 tiles, but 40 tiles per box. So now we can determine the number of boxes that we need. What are we going to do? We are going to divide. We are going to divide the 400 by 40. So that will represent the number of boxes. So we need 10 boxes. So far, so good? We need to calculate something else. Let's go up. Each box costs $50 per box. So to find out the amount of money that is going to be spent, we now need to multiply the number of boxes by the cost per box. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? So to find out the total amount of money that is going to be spent, we need to now multiply. So we have the $50 and we are multiplying by 10, which gives us what? $500. Boys and girls, are you with me? Are you with me? So this $500 represents if I go to this particular store and I purchase the tiles to cover the floor here for Mr. Ali. But Mr. Ali also went to check another store, so let's go there now. What we did with this one, we're going to do the very same thing. Remember, what does not change? The area of the floor is 90,000 centimeters squared. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do the same thing using the information given on this side here now. What do we need to determine? The number of tiles. All we are doing now is using different dimensions. So we know that the floor, the area is 90,000. But now what are we going to do? Each tile is 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So you're going to be using this dimension now. So far, so good? So we got 225 tiles, which would be needed. Now, what do we have to find? The number of boxes. How are we going to find the number of boxes? Let's look at the box. Remember, there are 25 tiles per box. So to find the number of boxes, we are going to divide. We are going to divide the 225 by the 25 to determine the number of boxes. All right, when we divide, we are going to get 9 boxes. So far, so good, boys and girls? Wonderful. Is that the end? No, no, no. Let's go back to the question. Each box costs $55. So what are we going to do now? To find the total cost, we are going to multiply the $55 by the 9 boxes. Are you seeing that, boys and girls? Let's do that now. So, total cost. So, we have $55. Always double check. Because, you know, sometimes we could be a little bit careless and we multiply by the 9. Let's see what we get. Are you working it out with me? So, in truth and in fact, $495 is the cost if we were to purchase tiles here. We have the cost of the first one, $500. We have the cost of the second one, $495. Let's look at the question. Which size tile should be used so that it is the better buy? If you're looking at the better buy, what does that mean? We don't want to spend all the money, so you will always look for the lower cost. That is how you determine the better buy. Which one is the lower cost? $500 or $495? Yes, $495 is the better buy. But the question asks us which size tile should be used. So if you look at the question, we should use the 20 centimeter by the 20 centimeter tile. You seen that, boys and girls? Because that will be the better buy. So in truth and in fact, our answer will be the 20 centimeter by the 20 centimeter tiles. Boys and girls, were you able to keep up with me? I told you that this one was a multi-step problem. All you have to do is to take your time. That's all you have to do. Take your time, look at the steps, apply the strategies that you need, and then solve the problem. When you reach the end, you can check back to make sure that you're on point. The questions are not very difficult, you know. Sometimes we overthink and think that they are very difficult. But all you have to do is to apply the strategies, reason out, and I'm telling you, boys and girls, you will be able to solve all the problems. See you next time on S.E.A. Time. Goodbye.